Hi, my name is Will Long, and this is my presentation on the noir/neo-noir genre. What is film noir? Film noir refers primarily to the hard-boiled and brooding detective dramas that were prevalent through the 1930s on into the 1950s. Some of its tropes include dark and shadowy cityscapes, trench coats and Dutch angles, narration, and character types like the femme fatale and anti-hero. While most film noir protagonists are either some kind of detective or private investigator, this is not a necessity for the genre, as some other protagonists from noir films have been boxers, screenwriters, or gangsters. The neo-noir is the natural progression of the film noir as it features worlds and characters with far more moral ambiguity while still retaining elements of the original noir genre. Dark and brooding cityscapes with long shadows are still ever present, along with the occasional trench coat. However, neo-noirs can also bleed into other genres. My example here being Blade Runner, as it bleeds into the sci-fi genre. Whilst film noir was held back by such things as the Hays Code, which lasted from 1934 to 1968, neo-noir is able to explore darker themes and subject matter. More is able to be shown, and the protagonist doesn't always come out on top. Chinatown, released in 1974, follows private investigator Jake Gittes, played by Jack Nicholson, as he is hired to investigate what he believes to be a routine case of infidelity. However, it isn't long before this routine case leads him down a rabbit hole of government corruption, murder, and dark truths. Whilst it is considered a neo-noir, Chinatown employs far more clearly the tropes of the classic noir, being set in the 1930s LA and making use of tropes such as the anti-hero and red herring. Chinatown, through its use of noir tropes as well as its expanded depictions of violence and more mature themes, communicates the frustrations and mistrust of government that existed within the time of its release. With the Watergate scandal having come out in 1972 and Richard Nixon resigning the presidency only 2 months after the release of the film, many Americans of the time felt that they had been cheated and betrayed by the government. This feeling of disillusionment that Chinatown seeks to communicate is only reinforced by the elements of mise-en-scène within the film. The setting of LA in and of itself is in conflict with the message of the film. Los Angeles is seen through the cultural zeitgeist as nearly the epitome of the American dream, where anyone can strike out and make it big if they pull up their bootstraps and put in the work. An example of this in the cultural zeitgeist being La La Land. This clashes with the cynical view and portrayals of corruption espoused by Chinatown and many other noirs and neo-noirs. The choice in costuming and time period of the 1930s also lends credence to this belief, as well. Popular culture often looks back on the 1930s and 50s as simpler times, the undertones of the Depression and rise of corruption peek through the curtains. This is demonstrated by the film's plot, the rich and politicians attempting to divert water away from LA during a drought in order to enrich themselves somehow. It's not entirely clear in the movie. It's kind of a weird, convoluted plot, but that's the plan. The narration of the film, that of the perspective of P.I. Jake Gittes, ensures the cynical view of the film whilst also adhering to the noir character trope of the anti-hero private investigator. Jake is crass and vulgar, disillusioned with the LAPD after an event that occurred in his past relating to a case in Chinatown. Jake's general apathy throughout the film is only curbed through his desire to untangle the web of lies he finds himself in. This only further cements the nihilistic ending, where Jake finds himself in Chinatown once more and fails to foil the plot, and instead must solely experience the carnage after being sidelined by the LAPD investigators. In conclusion, Chinatown's use of narration, mise-en-scène, and character tropes make it a perfect fit into the neo-noir genre. Whilst it makes use of the tropes of the classic noir, it expands upon the themes of the noir through a further depth in character and subject matter that wasn't possible for, at the time, many classic noirs were released. This in turn demonstrates the themes espoused by the genre, that of criticism of the times. In this case, the disillusion felt by Americans towards the government post-Watergate. Thanks for watching, guys. This is like my 15th take, so I hope this is good enough. Let's see, stop sharing. Bye.